Alright everybody, Awesome Soul here, and I today am here to do something that I haven't done for quite a while. So, recently I got a comment in one of my videos saying that I should do a garage bay tour. And I figured that, I haven't done this in like, what was it? It feels like a year. Maybe, it can't be a year, it's probably like 7 months, 6 months or something. Something like that. Anyways, point is, it's been a while. And things have changed. So, without further ado, I guess I will show things off. And I'm kind of starting at the Soul Reaper, because that was the one I used in my last video. And if you didn't see it, well, I guess I'll put a link here. If I remember. Anyways, so let's see. Soul Reaper. It is, like I said in my last video, I'll just quickly cover it again. A very quick bot. Not necessarily the fastest, but as far as hovers go, it's pretty quick, I'd say. It's got the firepower. It's got the tankiness. Although the electro plates aren't quite as powerful as they used to be. Hopefully they will get buffed up now that all the weapons have recently gained a buff, and there's the missiles, which are quite powerful. It's hard for the electroplates to keep up. Anyways, it's got lots of movement redundancy, except the big downfall of it is weapon redundancy. It has a lot of firepower because it's got the big mega gun, but if you lose it, you're kind of screwed. Because then you're down to 5 regular SMGs, and all of those are pretty far up at the front, which get shot off pretty easily. So that's the only downfall. However, it is fairly simple to escape. That's what I was kind of going for, an escape bot, but I don't know. You get the idea. Enough of that. Electro Strider. So I'll be going to the left and then continuing on to the right. The Electro Strider was just something I kind of threw together for some low-tier action. I think it was on a Verdant's live stream or something like that. Basically, I just strapped this thing together in like 20 minutes, and I instantly fell in love with it. Because it just looks really cool in a derpy kind of way. And then I decked out the back there with a cool little jetpacky scrap metal design, which is part of the cockpit mask, if you guys couldn't tell. All in all, it's a pretty decent little mech. I haven't played it recently, but hopefully Phase 2 will be kind to it. Only time will tell. And, yes, the magic carpet. The longest surviving bot. This was here from the very beginning, actually. Although not in this form, obviously. I upgraded it over time. But I upgraded it all the way up until about Tier 7, back when they had the Tier 6, yeah. It was up until Tier 6 where I upgraded it to. And then I kind of moved on, because the design I had here with the Tier 5 electroplates, I really wanted to keep that design there, and just if I went any higher, the electroplates just wouldn't be viable. But it served me well. All the hovers were on the outside because I was a noob back then, and didn't really think that I should protect my hoverblades. Obviously, the hoverblades have to, put out the air pressure below, and if it's inside, it can't do anything. Well, I was wrong. But it still looks cool, and surprisingly, it holds up decently well from what I remember. I don't know if that's still the case now. Anyways, moving on to Battle Boogie. I might actually have to hop out of... Yep. Alright, I'll have to hop into edit mode here. Alright, so... Bam! There we go. If you don't know who this is supposed to represent, this is Boogie2988. Fairly popular YouTuber. 3 million subscribers, I think. Yeah, if you don't know, go check him out. But if you do check him out, and he seems really angry and has a lisp, that's not him, that's just one of the characters he plays, called Francis. A lot of people get confused, so I figured that I would actually preface that. If you do go to one of his videos, I guess tell him I sent you. I don't know. Anyways, back to the garage. Oh, yeah, I kind of did a video on this. It's on my channel. I'll put a link to it on screen as well, I guess. Oh boy, just making more work for myself. Isn't that fun? Alright, now continuing on to Galvantula. If you don't know what this is, shame on you. What are you doing with your life? You are a terrible person. No, I'm just kidding. This is Galvantula, one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 5. Yes, I do love me some Pokemon. It was kind of for... what was it for? It's a long time ago. Oh yeah, the puppet, who is kind of missing in action. Nobody knows where the heck he went. He said he'd be back, but then he came back, and then didn't come back, and then... yeah, you get the idea. Puppet, if you're watching, out there in the ether, please return to us. Anyways, so that was for one of his live streams. He was doing like a crazy art bot live stream type thing. It was a lot of fun, so I figured that I'd throw this thing together. And then Reddit at the same time was hosting a art bot competition, so I was like, you know what? Let me post that there. I got close to winning. I believe I was knocked out in 3rd place, and then there were 2 people that went on to, what was it? I guess the final, quote-unquote. It was a long time ago. I forget who won, but yeah, my little spider art bot did pretty well in the competition. I can't quite say the same for in-game combat-wise, but yeah. Maybe Phase 2 will make it better? I highly doubt that. But it still looks cool, nonetheless. Moving on to the Falcon Dropship. This was a sort of Mark V range bot that I kind of threw together recently. And then people were saying, oh, awesome, you should make a flying missile launcher bot. And because I was already at max garage spaces, unfortunately, at the time of this video, you can only have 25 spaces. That should change fairly soon, according to Mark's Twitter. Anyways, so yeah, I kind of upgraded it to a Mark 10 bot and strapped some missile launchers onto it. It works okay. Not the greatest, but it gets the job done. And onto the Shooting Star. This one was a lot of fun to make, and at the time, it functioned really well. Not like, oh my god, so OP, kind of really well, but it was just a lot of fun to play. Now, unfortunately, with the way center of mass works, it doesn't quite work as well, because now it pivots around your frontmost movement part, if I'm not mistaken, or is it the frontmost gun? It's something like that. Anyways, the pivot point is now at the tip, as opposed to the center, which is where I spent a lot of time balancing this bot, just to make sure it jumps properly. Now it just doesn't quite jump the same, oftentimes flipping over, doing somersaults. I don't know if I can make it work anymore, but I can't bring myself to destroy it because it looks really cool. And that's it for that. Moving on to the Pit Drifter. This was, if you couldn't tell by the name, a bot designed for the pit. When the pit was released, and they had the competition, I was like, you know what? What's strong in the pit? Oh, air. Okay. Let me see. Air plasma. Okay. I could make a bomber, or I could make a blimp. So I made a blimp, and it did alright. I don't think I came close to winning, but I think my video was 6 minutes? It was basically who could get to 20 kills without, no, 20 score without dying in the shortest amount of time. I think I got 6 minutes, but the winner got like 2 or 3 minutes, something crazy like that. So, my poor little blimp stood no chance. Speaking of standing no chances, in the current meta, with the flak overlords and missile launchers everywhere, it doesn't hold up at all. One flak shot cleaves it in half, and then like 2 or 3 missiles just makes it go poof. So it was fun while it lasted, but again, I can't bring myself to destroy it. Maybe I can stuff a whole ton of modules in there and make it good that way? I don't know. And this one. Shh. Don't tell FreeJam I still have this one. This was created when you could place movement parts upside down. So I have created a Hovertank. Basically, my idea behind this was it would hover, quote unquote, but it was like an art bot type thing. And again, I can't bring myself to destroy it. Not because it looks cool, just because upside down tank tracks. And no, for you guys asking, this is not going on the CRF. Because I'm pretty sure FreeJam would get a teeny bit mad. I don't know. The thing is, though, it's not game breaking. Apparently, though, it was causing some lag issues having upside down movement parts, or something like that. So FreeJam temporarily removed it. We don't know if it's gonna be returning. I kind of hope it returns, because just sideways hovers, it was really cool. I saw somebody make like a hover bike, and the wheels were like the hover blades, because like they were on their like vertical instead of horizontal, if you can kind of catch my drift. Anyways, that's enough time on that. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with it. Probably nothing, because I probably shouldn't, but whatever. Anyways, my pride and joy, the Ugly Bug. Currently, it's my favorite bot, and my on-again, off-again favorite bot of all time, depending on if rails are actually good and useful like they are now, or if they're just wet noodle rails like they sometimes are, unfortunately. But it seems like we have actual, you know, rails firing metal slugs at like a bazillion miles per hour. Because, you know, that's what a rail cannon is, and not like wet noodle launchers. FreeJam, thanks. Anyways. Okay. Like I've said a few times before, this was my first T9 bot, which turned into a T10 bot. And it's been with me for a long time. Obviously, this was my very first, and I am not going to be getting rid of it anytime soon. It's a lot of fun to play. Maybe not necessarily the greatest bot. There are a few flaws with it, but it's still my favorite. And that is that. Moving on to the Law. This was originally a Mega Plasma mech when, yeah, I built this for the release of Mech Legs. I was like, oh crap, I need to make a mech as soon as possible, so I kinda made a really weird blocky thing, but it still looked kinda cool. And this is the V2 version of it. It looks slightly different, if some of you do remember the old version, and I strapped missile launchers onto it, because this was the first bot I made when Mech Legs came out, and I figured that this would be the first bot to try out the missile launchers, because why not? And again, I was kind of at full garage bays and didn't really want to get rid of anything else, or didn't know what else to strap it onto, so this was kind of fitting. Anyways, the Arrow Crawler was my other